Well, we're sort of the halfway point in terms of the wines that we have out here, and I want to continue that conversation about education, and because at the winery, at the tasting room, that's obviously a very important thing. I think smart wineries are bringing people in and saying, look, let's break down the walls, let's learn, ask questions, don't feel silly, don't feel stupid. And one of the things that Vina Robles does on an ongoing basis involves pairing wines with cheese. And we have a whole cheese platter over here looking at us right now. Simone, tell us a little bit about that program and how you guys are getting that kicked out for the new year, essentially.
Well, first I'd like to tie back to Kayla's comment. As she said, our wines are very food friendly, and that's our winemaking style. As Julie mentioned earlier, we want to let the fruit speak for itself. We have a very kind of medium subtle oak program, and that's our European heritage speaking. Right, it's that nice balance and the finesse of the European wines, and then we want the Paso Robles fruit to express itself. And one of the things we offer in the tasting room is a wine and cheese experience, and this is actually our brand new pairing that we will start offering this coming week. It is a private sit-down wine and cheese experience. So you can come, instead of tasting at the bar and, being in a kind of rushed, you can sit down and you'll have a designated Vina Robles tasting room associate guide you through the tasting and kind of teach you on, what wine and cheese pairing is all about and how the flavor profiles kind of progress. So it features 5 special release wines, which are only available in our tasting room. One of them actually is a wine club exclusive wine, and they're paired with 5 different cheeses. And it starts off with one of my favorites, which is called Tête et Moine. It's a traditional Swiss cheese, and it translates to head of the monk. Okay. And it relates to its origin, and it was actually invented or discovered about 8 centuries ago. Oh my gosh. In the western French-speaking part of Switzerland, near Moutier. Okay. And so these kind of cute flower rosette shapes are made. It's a round cheese. It's a semi-hard, and it was washed with salt water, and you put it on a girole. Okay. It's this little rod in the center. You put the cheese over it, and then it has a knife on top, and you kind of scrape off the cheese, and it just makes the wonderful nutty flavors unfold on your tongue. That's fantastic. And we pair this with our Brut sparkling wine, and the bubbles just really kind of clean off the palate afterwards, and the fattiness of the cheese. Nice, nice. And cheese, just like wine, could go on and on and on and on. Tastings, systematic tastings, layers, flavors, front of the tongue, back of the tongue. It's limitless, isn't it? Exactly. Yeah. And the tasting technique is actually similar. So when you taste wine with cheese, you always want to taste the wine first on its own, then take a little bit of the cheese, and you want to make sure it's all over your tongue and your palate, and then make sure you inhale through your nose. Same with the wine. You sometimes see the experts do a little funny sound there. That's actually, to get all the aromatics back into your nose. Now, so you want to do the same thing with your There's cheese. A function to that. They're not just doing it because they want to be snooty about it. So we're breaking down the walls. There's a function to it. Exactly. And then after the cheese, you want to taste the wine again, and that's when really hopefully the wonderful flavors just unfold. Excellent. Are we going to pass any of those around, or we're just going to look at them? Or we're just going to have them. We could just have them after the show. That's fine too. But the second one is actually called Honeybee Goat Gouda, and a lot of people would think goat barnyard. It's not at all. It was rubbed in honey, and then it has a wax rind over it. It's not sweet. If you think of honey, you'll think sweet. But it's actually pretty mild. It has slightly a light nutty flavor, just with a subtle hint of honey. And it pairs wonderfully with our 2010 Viognier that really brings out kind of those honeysuckle aromas. I like that this is on a slate. Is this just pretty, or is there a method to that? Well, mainly it's pretty, and it ties back into our Swiss heritage too. And it makes really the cheese pop too. Yeah, pops right off of there. Yeah. You mentioned, the winemaking style of Vina Robles being food friendly. And I know that's a big part of Italian culture, of course, of food friendly wines and food, period. Tell us about how, as a winemaker, you try to keep that in mind as you're making the wines. Does it relate to the acid and food sort of
is a big complement to each other. You know, a wine that's a little bit more acidic goes well with food.
Yeah, it is one of those palate cleansing things, the acidity. It keeps just everything sort of fresh in your mouth. And I think this region of the Central Coast, especially Paso Robles, really allows the grapes to have a natural acidity to it. Petit Syrah especially is a really acidic or more acidic variety of grape. And so it just lends itself
That cheese is talking to me. That's fantastic.
Perfect.
It's trying to have a conversation with me right now while I'm listening. That's just fantastic.
That is the best thing about Switzerland. I mean, you walk up there on the hill, so see these beautiful cows. You go inside these little stone houses, and you have this cheese. Like when she was explaining that, I remember just walking up to this. We call it Alpi, you know, Alps. When you go up. And you go in there, this lady, like, sweet, like, you just have it there, and with some wine, it's amazing.
Amazing. Amazing stuff. So, people want to know more about these sort of things. How do they, how often do you do them, and how do people get in contact with you to find out?
This will actually be offered daily at our hospitality center in Paso Robles. And if you have any questions, you can visit our website at vinarobles.com or give us a call. And you can just come on by and we'll guide you through the tasting, or on weekends I would recommend making a reservation.
Excellent, excellent.